Around the same time as the development of Chinese and Indian belief systems was a movement towards monotheistic religious traditions in the Middle East. The term monotheism means belief in only one God. The earliest forms of monotheism were Zoroastrianism and Judaism. Neither of these religions spread widely, but they became the basis for both Christianity and Islam, which are the two largest religions in the world today. Early civilizations were polytheistic. The idea of a single supreme God was, in fact, a radical notion. The concept opened up the possibility of a universal religion that included everybody on Earth, open to all people. But it also opened up the possibility of the development of exclusive, intolerant religions based on worshipping the one and only true God. The original monotheistic prophet was Zarathustra, and he lived in Persia around 6th or 7th century BCE. And Zarathustra bared witness to extreme violence in Persian society, and he believed he was the prophet for a single unique God, who he referred to as Ahura Mazda. And Mazda was the source of all truth, light, and goodness in the world. Ahura Mazda represented everything that was good, and he was in constant battle with the forces of evil. And the forces of evil were embodied in another supernatural figure, Angru Mahinu. Ultimately, Zarathustra proclaimed the world would be decided in favor of Ahura Mazda, with the help of a savior here on Earth. On Judgment Day, those who aligned with the true God would be granted new bodies and live eternally in paradise. Those who sided with the forces of evil would be condemned to everlasting punishment. Zoroastrianism stressed the free will of humans and the need for each human to choose between good and evil. This religion flourished in Persia, but it wasn't an active missionary religion, so it didn't spread beyond. At the time this religion was flourishing, however, there were many Jewish people living in the Persian Empire. So, the ideas of Zoroastrianism, the conflict between God and Satan, the idea of a final judgment and resurrection, and the belief of the final defeat of evil and the arrival of a savior were incorporated into an evolving tradition of Judaism. And some of these teachings, especially the concepts of heaven and hell, became prominent in the successors to Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. Zoroastrianism emerged in the largest empire of its time, in Persia. Judaism, on the other hand, emerged in one of the region's smaller groups, the Hebrews. The Old Testament tells of the Jewish migration from Mesopotamia to Palestine under the leadership of Abraham. Now, as the story goes, some of these Jewish migrants later fled Palestine to Egypt, and in Egypt they were made slaves before escaping with the help of Moses and rejoining their kin in Palestine. There, in Palestine, around 1000 BCE, the Jews established a small state, which split into two parts: a northern kingdom, known as Israel, and a southern kingdom, known as Judah. Israel was conquered by Assyria in 722 BCE, and its inhabitants were deported to distant lands. The kingdom of Judah was overtaken by Babylon, and the elite members of the kingdom of Judah, the royal family, were shipped off to Babylon. In Babylon, they began to refer to themselves as Jews, and they were later allowed to return to Judah along with new, unique religious ideas. Over many centuries, the Jews developed a unique conception of God. Unlike the many gods of Mesopotamia, the Jews had only one God. They referred to him as Yahweh, and Yahweh was a powerful and jealous deity who demanded supreme loyalty from his subjects. The Jews believed they had a special relationship with the God. According to the Bible, the Ten Commandments were given to Moses by God, and at that time it was revealed that the Hebrews were God's chosen people. As a result, the Hebrews entered into a covenant with God. They were forbidden from worshipping any other god and had to follow the Ten Commandments. And some of these commandments included things like honoring your mother and father, thou shalt not murder, thou shalt not commit adultery. The Hebrews believed that if they followed the Ten Commandments, Yahweh would lead them to the Promised Land. Most importantly, the Hebrews, who became known as the Jews, established a monotheistic religion, which claims there is but one Creator who made the world and all life. Unlike the Jews, Persians, or civilizations of India, Greek thinkers of the classical era generated no lasting religious tradition of world historical importance. The Greek gods were similar to the other early civilizations. They were unpredictable, they fought a lot, they often embodied the forces of nature, and they were deeply concerned with human affairs. But the unique thing about Greek thinkers was their willingness to abandon the mythology and to affirm that the world was a physical reality governed by natural laws. And the Greek philosophers argued that human rationality could work out the natural laws of the world and could also develop a code for moral and ethical living. So if you were to compare the Greeks to another early civilization, it would have to be the ideas of Confucius in China.